I'm really honoured to be part of this project and to have been invited to make some work as part of the augmented reality sculpture for this garden. When I was first invited to do this, I kind of did a whole lot of reading and research about this place, and then I came here for the very first time in July last year. And it was an incredible place to be. And I met Neil, and we spent a couple of hours wandering around, and then I spent the rest of the day, we spent many hours here, and I had no idea that this place closes at 5 o'clock at night. And it was nearly 9 o'clock, and I became aware that I'm the only person here, which is a great privilege to be the only person here, but it meant that I was actually fully locked in into Tremenheere Gardens, Sculpture Gardens. I got out by climbing over several walls and fences. It's actually quite difficult to get out, surprisingly. But I did manage to get out, and I managed to get to my B&B where I was staying that night. And then spent another day kind of wandering around. If any of you have actually used the app at all, or you may be seeing some of the video, what I've created is very large circles which kind of appear and float in the landscape. There's 5 of them in a row, and they slowly turn, and with your phone you can move through them and in and out through them as they're floating there. There's 5 different locations around the gardens where they exist. And they're kind of like an expression, they kind of layer on top of the environment that's here. It's really important to know that the images that I've made are not made and then brought here. They're all from actual photographs from this place. And so what I found in those photographs, the colour and the textures, have been found and discovered inside the photographs of these particular locations. I'll just give you 2 very quick concepts around the ideas behind it. I call them thin-scapes. And they come from 2 particular concepts. Some of you may know the idea of inscape. Gerard Manley Hopkins, who's a 19th century English poet, talked about inscape. And he never really defined it precisely, but we can kind of roughly imagine it as the inner landscape. The kind of strange nature and inner reality of things was the way he described it. One thing he did talk about it was they're constantly changing. They're dynamic. They're not a fixed thing. So that's why these circles are kind of constantly turning. They counter-rotate, so you're kind of seeing everything different every time it happens, every time you experience it. The second idea is the thin bit. And it's a Celtic idea of what they call thin spaces. Spaces which are kind of like where the divide between heaven and earth is strangely thin. Almost a translucency between ways of seeing, ways of imagining, ways of understanding. The difference between different ways is very thin between them. So that's why I call these sculptures as thin-scapes and things that you can move through and experience as you go through them. And they layer on the actual environment, so you can still see the actual environment, and I don't want them to take away from that, because it's such a beautiful, magical place, that it's just enhancing and layering on top of it. A project like this can't happen, and you've heard Tanya thank lots of people, but I want to mention some people as well by name. It can't happen without the help of lots of different people. The whole team at Falmouth have been amazing, in particular for Tanya, thank you very much. Alex Mitchell, who did the heavy lifting for the coding for us as well on that. Dave Bessel, I don't know if he's here, but he did some work with audio with me. And of course Neil, and all the team here at Tremenheere Gardens, who have created a truly magical and wonderful place. One final thought about this particular app, and particularly the way that I've used it, is it's geolocated. So you can download the app, you can be outside the garden, but nothing will happen. You have to physically be here. You actually have to be in this location to actually experience it. And that's what's intriguing, is this kind of augmented reality, this layer of digital layering on top of the world is tied to the physical location. So it is virtual and real at the same time. And this place feels like a generous place which is being given to us to view and to be part of. And the generosity and love that's bound into this seems to be really important. So I thought it would be quite interesting to kind of make a little contribution of that myself. So what I've done, because I've got 5 different sculptures here, 5 different layers in each image, that makes, if you're good at maths, it makes 25 different images that I've created. And I've created a limited edition of 5 prints of each of the images that are in there. They're named, they're numbered, they're G-Clade archival prints. I've signed them all as well. And when we finish these talks, I'm going to walk around, and if you want one, you can have one. I want to give it away, so you can have one of these for free. There's, like, I'd say, 25 different ones. You can choose whichever one you like. And it's this kind of play of the generosity of a place like this, which is seeing the layers of real and virtual, the actual physical experiences of the wind, the weather, the rain, the sun, as well as the kind of the virtual enhancement of this layer. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy it. It's at least nothing else, it's just fun to play with.